What's going on, guys? My name is Shogun Shadow, and welcome back to Cooking with Shogun. But there's a catch. We are going to be cooking with a guest for the very first time. Allow me to introduce Chris, aka Paradox, my
Hello,
roommate.
everybody. Good to be on Cooking with Shogun. We are going to be making a lot of stuff today, so let's see how this goes.
Yeah, it's probably going to go well, I hope. Of course, you guys know as well as any that there has been a couple of failures on the channel, like the burger made on a bagel. That didn't turn out too well. Taste-wise, it turned out great, but every bite squeezed out the burger, so the borger. So we're going to be making a crap ton of apple stuff. As you've seen from recent posts on my socials, we went to the apple orchard and it was a blast and a half, but now we have an entire bushel of apples for two guys.
Half bushel, but
Close enough. More than what we need. So, we got a little idea in our heads to bake up a bunch of appley good things. Wow, I can describe that well. And deliver them ninja style to our friends. And tell them nothing. And then sit back and watch them try and figure it out because chaos.
mm,
And our current motto right now is do good recklessly. So, we're going to go ahead. We have a bunch of apples here. We're going to get to chopping these. I need to dice some. He needs to slice some. I have the small cutting board because my pieces are going to be smaller.
Yep.
Safety first. Don't ever wave your knives around. You guys all know this. I've told you this numerous times. Don't ever wave your knives around. You could totally hurt somebody.
Yeah. We are trained professionals, so
We are nowhere near professional. We are trained idiots.
yep. So basically, we're going to do one of the things we do best and improvise the crap out of stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. We've had a few subjects that we wanted to talk about today. Obviously, if you guys are into Minecraft, which you guys have been really blowing up those videos, wanted to talk a little bit today about the recent Minecraft Live. As you guys know, there was a mob vote. How did you feel about the mob vote?
It went exactly as I could have hoped. My least favorite mob got voted off first, and my favorite one won.
So, I voted for the LA, and Chris wasn't on Twitter, so I kind of just, we voted, he voted in spirit, but he was voting for the LA too. And I think that's actually a good size right there. So, one of the recipes that I'm working on, the reason I'm dicing them up this small, is I'm going to make apple and dulce de leche empanadas. Don't ask me how. I've never done this before. I'm just going to channel my inner Puerto Rican and try. Grandma be with me.
Meanwhile, I will be channeling my inner Fred Inchman and making a conscious effort not to do the accent, but I am slicing these up for a French apple pie, which, for those who don't know, like I didn't until recently, is basically a regular apple pie, but instead of a top crust, you do a streusel top. We'll be showing you how to make that later.
Some parts are not going to be in here. Like, I purposely didn't include us peeling all of these apples and dicing them because
we want you to actually watch the video and not use it as a sleep aid.
Yeah, who wants to watch 30 minutes of peeling apples? I don't, and I'm the one doing it. But back to the Minecraft thing. So, the Minecraft Live was pretty cool. The fact that Mumbo Jumbo did a small part in that was pretty cool to me because I watch a lot of Mumbo Jumbo. and he was voting for the LA as well. And for those of you who don't know, it was the LA, the glare, and the copper golem. The glare would let you know whether a place was dark enough for mobs to spawn, which we both equally thought was dumb. We can just use our eyeballs for that.
Mm-hmm.
And the copper golem had some redstone capabilities, as in like pushing switches and such, which seemed kind of useful, but also there's a million ways to make a randomizer, as you've heard from countless other YouTubers. And then the third option was the LA, which is basically a hopper with an AI.
A hopper with an AI that likes music.
Aha, yeah. Good point. Which I thought was pretty cool. A friendly mob, which we needed more of.
Here.
That essentially you can give an item and they'll go out into the world and find that item and drop it at a music box, hence the music part. So, thankfully the LA won, but that wasn't the only thing that I was excited about. Boats with chests. I know it sounds dumb, but I was so stoked about this.
Yeah, the general reaction was, where has this been our entire Minecraft career?
Yeah, like this could have been a 2012 thing, but you know, better late than never, I guess.
Right.
But recently, see, Chris and I, we play Minecraft a lot, and we have a personal file, which, don't worry, you guys are going to be able to see that very soon. Not going to say when, but very soon. We go on ocean adventures all the time, and we are always struggling for room in our inventory. So a chest in a boat is an amazing thing. You know, we could just pull a Steven Spielberg and be like, you're going to need a bigger boat. But I suppose a chest in a boat is just as good.
Indeed. Possibly the greatest advancement in inventory space since the shulker box, which is kind of our current system.
Shulker boxes are highly useful. The only problem I have with them is that you have to place them down in order to get into them.
Right.
And sometimes that's just not an option. You have to go, especially if you're doing ocean adventures, you gotta go find land or have a water breathing potion, which is
It's a good thing to have and a thing that is difficult to remember to pack sometimes.
Yeah, if our last adventure was anything, thanks for that little boat, by the way. Yeah, I forgot, on an ocean adventure, I forgot to pack potions of water breathing, which was very fun. And if you guys aren't into Minecraft, I'm very sorry, because it's going to be a very Minecraft-heavy discussion. But also,
Right. We'll get into the cooking discussion later.
there's not much to discuss when it comes to cooking. I mean, essentially, we're dicing up the apples right now, which, fun, in the sun.
I have also lost track of how many I've sliced up, so I'm just eyeballing it for how many go into this pie.
I feel like that's way more than you're going to need.
They're going to cook down, so... But you're probably right.
That's delicious.
One more just for luck.
So,
Alrighty.
another thing that I was very excited to see was the Deep Dark Cities. What's your thoughts on the Deep Dark Cities?
Honestly, pretty spooky. I am both excited to explore them and mildly scared out of my wits by the footage they showed of the warden coming up out of the ground like daisies. Guess that reference.
Comment down below if you know what that reference is. Matter of fact, comment down below if you don't know what that reference is. We will not be telling you. We will sit back and watch and let you try to figure it out.
This is another part of doing good recklessly.
It's not just for your entertainment, it's also for ours. Thunder cracks. I thought that I'm so stoked for the Deep Dark. I'm stoked for the Warden. I'm especially stoked for, I forget what they call it, but there's a certain scope block that when you kill mobs near it, it collects the XP. Which I could totally see as being a XP storage type deal.
Yeah, I don't remember what that one's called either.
I forget, it's Skulk something, obviously, but also I don't remember what it was called, and I'm sure the comments will tell us.
Yeah.
Either that or more likely I'll just go back and look it up.
Watch it just be called a skulk block and we look even more like idiots.
Yeah, right? It's like, I don't know what this knife-shaped thing is.
Right.
What's it called? It's clearly shaped like a knife, but I forgot the name of it.
In that case, it's Kniffy.
I don't know why I turned into Bill and Ted there. Also, super stoked to have a brand new biome. Technically, they announced 2 biomes, but for the wild update, they're going to be adding a mangrove forest. Now, most of you don't know, some of you do, especially the ones who have been around my channel for a while, that I grew up in Florida. And I'm very familiar with mangrove trees, and they are super cool because they are what's called a walking tree. The tree itself has the ability to move, albeit highly slowly, but you know.
Sorry, Lord of the Rings fans, no Ents yet.
Close, but not quite. 1 apple to rule them all. I'm literally just snacking on these at this point.
Yep. And we gotta save some for the sauce, remember that. Viewers, that was a joke. We still have about half a bag that we haven't even peeled yet.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say that that's enough.
Looks like it.
So, over on the stove right now, I have a can of condensed milk boiling out, which apparently, according to the recipe, will boil into caramel. Fingers crossed, you know.
Knock on wood.
It can either work perfectly, or we're just gonna be without caramel.
As long as the can does not explode, we are happy.
They specifically said let it cool down first, or else it'll spray hot caramel everywhere. I'm inclined to just open it and take the risk. It's like, wow, I wonder what the business end of this gun does.
Probably business. Getting back into our not remembering the words for things.
So now that we're done pretty much peeling apples and all of that jazz, we're going to get into the messy part of making pie crusts. Now, I don't know crap about pie crust, and Chris here knows a little more, but not much.
This is why we are professional improvisers.
That's a lot of apples, man.
I'm telling you, they'll cook down.
I believe you, but also I don't.
Alrighty then.
Knowing the Mile High Pie that we had last time, you guys saw the video of the Mile High Pie. Technically, it was a picture in a video. Haha, editing. Yeah, I don't know how to do much editing, but that being said, let me just really quickly make sure our brightness is up. We are 15 minutes into this, so it's about halfway to a regular episode. And what are we gonna do?
we are going to realize that we need more bowls, but this should do for the crust.
This can be put into something else.
Right, but also that's a colander.
Well, fine. I mean,
Um,
if you want tomato.
Indeed. Also, I
So-
should have been getting out ingredients all this time,
Well, we were busy.
I suppose.
Don't worry, we're not in a rush. We still got an about 45 minutes. No, we got about 40 minutes. 3:05 is when it comes out. Not 35 minutes. I'm over here trying to do math. I did math perfectly this morning. Now that I'm awake and have had coffee and everything, I can't do math to save my life. Yay, math.
Meanwhile, I'm usually the math whiz, but I'm busy getting my ingredients. Let me see here. Cup measures.
I suppose while we're sitting here, I can. No, if the video messes up, it's because I'm looking at a recipe right now. I don't think it will, but also I don't trust it.
Also, experienced bakers are probably laughing at me right now because my experience as far as cooking is have a system in place for organization of your cup measures and other sundry tools, such that when you need a certain tool, you can look right where it is and say, good Lord, why is it not there? Alright. We have got
I'm going to have
2 cups of flour.
I'm gonna have to wash this pan.
If I remember the recipe right, I just need a touch of sugar, a couple of teaspoons.
You're off camera.
Thank you. 1 teaspoon of sugar.
For reference, Christopher is not
teaspoons
used
of
to being
sugar.
on camera at all.
Right.
So bear with us.
Yep. Thus far, as long as I don't stutter or anything, we should be fine.
I wouldn't worry about stuttering, bro.
Uh,
There's plenty of people. Actually, one of my good streamer friends has a stutter. You might have actually heard of him. Shout out to Monster Matt.
Alright.
He's one of my Canadian friends who does quite a lot of streaming, and it was a little surprising at first. I thought it might have been like a glitch with the actual stream, but he just rolls on through. And he has the same tendency as you. Like, he'll get to a point where his brain starts stuttering on him, and it'll stop and be like, words.
Audience, you may see me do that later on in the video.
This is a thing.
In the meantime, we have added flour, sugar, and just a touch of salt. I am going with this recipe from memory, so this is where the stuttering happens, folks.
Cringe! Cringe!
Like this video if that was a good Porky Pig impression.
Like this video anyways if it wasn't.
So, now for the fun part. Because for pie crust, you want to use stick butter, and the colder the better. I believe it has something to do with the flakiness of the crust.
I think they just make you want to do more work. That's all that is.
It's possible. Bakers, please be kind to us in the comments. So my sister showed me this trick. You can you cut up the butter into cubes, like so. Hopefully that shows. And then, this is not as cold as I'd have liked, but we're rolling with it.
We can't get it much colder than the refrigerator.
We could have put it in the freezer, but we didn't think of that. So we'll just quarter up this other stick. There we go. And you can actually work this in with your fingers, but we purchased this bad boy just for this purpose, so we are going to be using it.
Meanwhile, I should probably tell you what all we're making. So we have the French apple pie, which he's mixing up right now. He also has a specific recipe for double chocolate cookies, which we're making, and I just put on butter on the stove. We're making Cocoa Crispy treats, and then of course the empanadas. The empanadas are probably the one that's going to challenge me the most. But right now I'm going to make some cinnamon sugar and dust these apples and mix it to go inside the empanadas.
We're also making applesauce, but we might not show that as much because it's literally boiling down apples into a sauce. Alright. Our butter is...
Did you have the sugar out there?
Yep. Our butter has been worked into a mixture resembling coarse crumbs.
Also, he flies down.
Is it?
No.
He does this a lot, folks.
As your heart drops out like, oh God, we've been recording for 20 minutes.
As I was saying, the butter has been worked into a mixture resembling coarse crumbs.
Let the people see. Show and tell.
Don't know if you can see that, but this is what pie crust should look like at this stage. So, we are going to add a bit of water. And work that in just with the fingers. Ugh, that was meant to be cold and it was not. I think I may have added too much. Fortunately, there is an easy solution to this. If you can get all the dough off your fingers, you simply add more flour.
And that is what the cinnamon apples look like. And I'm going to sample it.
Could I prevail on you to add a little more flour to this mixture?
No, do it yourself.
I'll pour it into my hands then.
Alright, tell me when.
That looks good. There we go.
Yeah, slowly but surely, we're getting there. And then we have to, do we need the cutting boards anymore? Right now?
Not until we chop up more apples, I think.
Okay, well,
For
we're
the
going to go
sauce.
ahead and toss these over here so I can go ahead and get this counter wiped down. I know these are just pot holders, but
yeah, you'll work with what you've got. And
we don't have washcloths, so
we have them, but they're in the wash, ironically enough. Alright. That looks like something more the consistency of pie crust.
I should probably get the rolling pin, eh?
You probably should.
Just to show how much we make pie crust or pizza dough, it's still in the original packaging.
That was supposed to be our secret. Just gonna dust a little more flour on here.
Oh, come on now. Really? Really? Okay. I don't know. Oh, wow. It's definitely actually a pretty cool. It's got these different size. I can center the camera, I promise. It's got these different sizes for different thicknesses.
Yep.
There we go. I'm like trying to turn it the right way, but everything's reversed in the camera. That's going to be too thick. What are you thinking, red?
Maybe even orange. Here's an interesting thing. Let us know down in the comments how thick you make your pie crust. Let's see
4
if we
millimeter?
can... Oh, blast, it's in metric.
Oh, well, it might not be on the other side.
Oh, nope.
1/6.
Hmm.
We got 1/16, 1/6, and then green.
Let's start with a quarter, so red. As I was saying, let us know down in the comments how thick you make your pie crust, and let's see if we can get an internet war going. Because I guarantee there are different preferences, and, well, as far as I'm concerned, all of you all are right. Now then, you lightly flour the surface on which you're rolling the dough, such that it doesn't stick.
Make sure I set these aside. I know I'm blocking the camera with my fat shoulder.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Oh, I should have been kneeling down the whole time. I'm centered. Now this part is a little touch and go. If it gets too crumbly, you just add a little more water. If it gets too sticky, more flour.
How about it?
Alrighty.
I have to go do marshmallows. You guys are going to see me recording some behind the scenes stuff. Also, I'm going to come back over here so I can read the directions on it.
It occurs to me that this measurement is not as good as one might think, because the measuring also cuts into the crust if it goes beyond the bounds of the roller. Also, having rolled that out, I think we are going to take it down another notch. 1 moment. If this simply doesn't work, I can just take these off and roll as needed.
I can't believe I actually hit the computer from this distance.
I'm just glad you didn't hit me from this distance.
Oh, it's just a marshmallow, you'd be fine.
I know, but I'd probably be right in the middle of some technical explanation, and then I get a marshmallow in the side of the head and completely lose my train of thought. And that is where the stammering starts.
Says, in large saucepan, melt butter, which is 3 tablespoons. I got that. Add marshmallows and stir until completely melted and removed from heat.
Now the great thing about this, I realize, is that it's actually going to be enough crust for the empanadas and the pie. These 2 balls would be the top and bottom crust of the apple pie, but as previously stated, French apple pie doesn't have a top crust. So we are going to take half the dough, roll it out, realize it's getting sticky, and add some flour. And we are now going to about a 1/6 of an inch. At this point, I'm sure you're all critiquing my rolling technique in the comments, to which, honestly, I can only say, deal with it. And if my sister is watching this video, you already know how much of an idiot I am, so you can also deal with it.
Hey, that's not nice to your sister. Behave.
That's true, it isn't.
Alyssa is an angel that can grow wrong.
Yeah, she really is, but...
Oh, I expected you to disagree.
Anybody who has younger siblings, you know how it goes.
Wow, I didn't expect this to melt so well. Okay, how many cups of Rice Krispie? 6 cups? Jeez. I don't think we have a pan big enough for this.
I'm not certain.
I'm
that
almost
this pie
positive.
crust is big enough either.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive we don't have a pan big enough.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I need one of the big bowls. Yeah, stealing that.
Alright. The crust is still not doing what I would like. When you get it down thin enough, you've got to worry about it tearing. We are going to do this the old-fashioned way and remove the markers.
What happened to the...
Blast, it's tearing. We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
As well we usually do.
Which, as a newcomer to the channel, I derive great comfort from.
That's our modus operandi.
Mm-hmm. I actually don't think I have enough dough, so I'm borrowing from what would have been for the empanadas. all you really need is for this to cover the bottom of your pie pan, and then you trim the edges later. So, looks like that might work. Pass me the large bowl was being used.
Half a tick.
So I put the apples in the pie pan already, which you're not supposed to do, but we're low on containers.
Give me the colander.
Alright.
Bam.
We're just going to do a quick off-camera transfer.
Said 6 cups?
I believe it.
Jeez.
And we're back. So, we have our pie tin. And we are going to attempt to get our crust in with a minimum of trouble. And the crust is giving me trouble. So I'm going to roll this out one last time and probably draw more fire in the comments as far as not overworking your crust. I do know some things.
I did not make enough marshmallow. I can just tell I didn't make enough marshmallow. I should have measured.
Toughened up a bit, and it's not quite wide enough. Put a little more flour on.
Behind.
A touch of water such that it's more workable. Oh dear. It's tearing.
Well, thankfully the pie is not getting delivered to others.
Indeed.
You
The pie
might
is
want
just for us.
to. Oh, dude, that's really jacked up.
Yeah.
Throw down some more flour.
This is the real reason I divided the dough. Because
Spread it out for me.
Because we've got extra if this is unsalvageable. better. Let me just see how that fits in the pie tin. Oh yes. It's not perfectly round, but pro tip, it's never going to be perfectly round.
Yeah,
What you do is you take a knife, trim off the part that's overhanging, and put it in the parts that don't have enough crust. Now, where is my knife?
your knife is over there.
Okay.
Oh, no. No. Oh, you know what? It can just stay in
Just
there.
gonna
I'm not going to burn myself to get one single
trim.
marshmallow.
trim this. Trimmed it. Work that in here.
What's that say on the record dot there? What's the time?
Record dot 42:30.
Okay, cool. Well, it definitely used up all of the marshmallow. I probably could have did a little less, but that would have left like a few marshmallows left over. I'm just like, why? So, ideas for our personal file have included many things, but one of the big things that I wanted to start getting started on was building dungeons, actual dungeons. Now, a lot of you know that creative mode is pretty much frowned upon by a lot of people who play Minecraft. I am not one of those people. I love creative mode because it allows me all of the freedom in the world without having to worry about resources. And I don't leave the land scarred by digging up a bunch of stuff. Because it may not look like it, but Minecraft's actually quite pretty. And that's without shaders. Okay, that can turn off a little bit. I may have used too much butter on this second batch. It's a little liquidy.
Well, we do have a lot of Rice Krispies to coat. In the meantime, we have gotten our pie crust centered in the tin. And doesn't that look lovely? Try to forget how it looked earlier.
It just took a little bit. It took a New Yorker's hands to make that dough.
No argument there. So,
Can't trust a Hoosier with some dough. Oh man, there's so many Indiana people that are gonna be so mad.
yep. Don't know if it helps, fellow Hoosiers, but we're doing this without a script. So,
We do everything on this channel without a script. The only thing I ever scripted was the baconing, and I made that up on the spot.
Alright, so we have added in our apples. And now, I must go and find the recipe for the streusel topping, because that part I did not have memorized.
While he's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and come on over and check and see how you guys are doing. Comment down below if you like having people in on Cooking with Shogun. Also comment down below on what do you think about Chris. Be honest. What do you think about it?
But also, please be kind.
Be gentle. Be gentle. It's his first time. Okay, that's looking more the consistency that I wanted. Now I need to, like, there's nothing I can press this in. You know what? Glass can. Ow. What in the world?
I don't know what.
Okay, it's still recording, so I guess the computer falls asleep while a program's running, which is stupid. Oh, screw the spatula. Pat it in by hand. Doesn't have to be super pretty. I may have needed more marshmallows for this. My hands look like this, so her hands can. Okay. And I guess we just chill this. Let that chill in the fridge, and then that's done. I think.
I don't suppose we have another bowl.
Ta-da!
I don't suppose we have another clean bowl.
Ta-da!
Actually, you know what? This isn't going to take much space. But I very nearly made a rookie mistake and forgot to coat the apples with cinnamon sugar.
Yep.
Now then, there's sugar.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
Here is cinnamon.
They're probably like, this is absolute chaos. They're used to me being wild.
This is why they call me Paradox. I'm the reformation of chaos. So.
Whereas I'm just plain and utter chaos. Good old-fashioned, homegrown, corn-fed, gluten-free chaos.
That's more like it. New Yorker.
Hey.
Hey, you made fun of Hoosiers. That means anything's fair game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the gauntlet has been thrown.
We had just a touch
Apparently
of
this
flour.
can is supposed to be done. So I'm going to pull it off of the fire. Technically it's at 305, but I just don't care.
Also, let me know when I have to run, because there's going to be a bit of pressure releasing. But in the meantime, we
hope
mix
this
together.
worked. I really hope this worked, because if it didn't, I'm going to be really sad.
Paramedics are not on standby, for those who are wondering.
No, the closest paramedic is 3 numbers away.
True.
Alright, here we go. Oh my god, it looks like caramel! Yo! Dude, I think it worked!
Let's go see.
Ah, I think it worked!
Wait for it.
And big reveal. Oh, I got my eye! Wow.
Houston, we have liftoff.
That doesn't taste like caramel at all. It tastes like sweetened condensed milk.
Hopefully it tastes like Dulce de Leche.
I don't know. Come on. Well, actually, come over here and take a toothpick full or something.
Okay.
Careful, it's so hot.
Oh, I know.
Yeah? Yeah?
Yes, indeed.
Bro. Science.
And somehow everything works out.
Listen. I fully expected that to not work. The recipe literally said, put the can of condensed milk into a pot of water with 2 inches of water above it and boil it for 2 hours. That's it. My dudes. The can's not even really that hot.
But safety first.
You can kind of see it. I don't want to tip it too much. You know, not to pour caramel all over my computer.
If the video abruptly stops, you know what happened.
All you're going to hear is, cut off the video.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in things we're hoping work out, I have made the cinnamon sugar topping. Just gonna toss the apples in this.
Ow! It's hot.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Yeah, no, pay no attention to me burning myself back here. That's actually pretty normal.
I am Oz, the great and powerful baker.
Dude, that turned out really good. I'm stoked. I mean, Dulce de Leche with minimal effort.
Indeed.
Why did I put this off for so long?
Intimidation, I guess.
It was really actually intimidation. I'm not even done, like.
Alright. We have coated our apples. Now, for the streusel topping, if you'll excuse me another moment.
Okay. This is... Bro, these empanadas are about to be the bomb diggity. I may not even give these away. These are staying home. These are ours.
Well, we've got to eat a couple. After all,
I don't know if you guys can, like, get a look at that, but... Man. Okay. Quick taste test. Bro. Get a spoon. Get a freaking spoon.
Okay.
Try that. That is amazing. I'm gobsmacked.
That is delicious.
I'm gobsmacked right now, dude.
We know we're serious because he's pulling out the British expressions.
Bro, I'm straight flabbergasted with that. That's unreal. I full on expected that to fail. We're gonna set that right there. Let it do its coolie thingy majigger. Mabob.
And in the meantime, let's make some streusel topping.
As if I didn't have enough apples, apple cider. Mainly because I'm thirsty.
And also because apple cider is the true flavor of fall. And I did just say that to get a rise out of you pumpkin spice fanatics.
Pay no attention to him. Pumpkin spice is king. All hail the great pumpkin.
Now then.
I got people that watch this channel every time I say pumpkin spice. They're like, ugh. I'm just like, good, more for me. You stay over there in the humdrum zone.
Now then, for streusel topping, we need 2/3 of a cup of flour. Good enough. Half a cup of finely packed brown sugar. I should really rinse this measuring cup, but it's only been used for the pie thus far. So
this is the aftermath of what baking looks like.
Not yet, it isn't.
This is. What am I Am I stepping in an apple? I'm stepping in an apple, bro.
Then we add a half teaspoon of cinnamon.
All that's left is the cookies and making the dough for the empanadas.
You keep forgetting my applesauce.
We can make that anytime.
Fine. I see how it is.
Matter of fact, how many apples you need? 8? Maybe
yeah.
less.
Maybe less.
We'll do 7.
Mixing spoon. Oh, wait. Yeah, about those cutting boards.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh. Maybe 5.
Maybe 5.
It all happened so fast. Now the question is, what did I do with my peeler? My peeler.
No, that's the can opener. Doggone it. What did we do with the peeler?
Ah, here it is. Right in front of my face.
Otherwise known as your blind spot, as anyone who's ever worked in retail knows.
Yep.
Now, as for this streusel topping, may not be a pie crust, but we're chopping in more butter anyway.
We are 30 seconds away from the hour mark.
Is that a record?
Yeah, considering most episodes are 30 minutes long. But this is a mega episode, so it's going to be a while.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to those of you who are still watching this right now.
Indeed. Yeah, we hope that we have entertained you thus far. We'll just chop that butter into chunks. And, good enough. And we will mix that in and hope fervently that this bowl is big enough. What? I'm going to do this old school and work it in with the fingers. Because my fingers are already covered in sugar and stuff.
And spice? And everything nice?
Mostly sugar, but yeah. Sugar and butter and flour and everything that gets all over a true baker's hands.
Whatever you do, don't add chemical X.
Don't worry.
Thus the pub pastries were born!
Okay, that was good. Only, of course, it would have to be Powerpuff pastries.
Sure. We can make an amendment.
Okay, this is coming together nicely, provided I don't make the same mistake I did earlier and get it all over my hands and not all over the pot.
Oh my god. Look at the floor at your feet.
I was trying not to. Now
That's going to be a bitch to clean.
This is why most kitchens don't have carpet. But like I said earlier, you work with what you've got.
I mean, the table's the biggest counter space we have.
Unfortunate, but accurate. Because we are doing this in an apartment. Glasses falling down my face. Touched them.
Yeah, y'all saw that. Y'all saw me juggle that. Yeah.
I think this needs more flour.
Better safe than sorry. Do the thing. Ah!
Yeah.
I'm over here doing Dragon Ball Z sounds trying to hold on to this stupid apple.
Alright. If I could get you to sprinkle flour in my hands again.
How does he get into these situations? Oh, that's
It
sugar.
helps to have crazy friends. The flour's here.
So that's a streusel topping?
Mm-hmm. That's more than enough.
I guess it is.
I think maybe I did not work the flour in well enough, so we will see how this tastes at the end.
I mean, at this point, we're holy crap.
Yes, indeed we are.
You're just walking Joe into the carpet.
Yeah.
We never said we were gonna be neat.
Yeah. And honestly, anybody who does say that when they set out to bake a pie is inexperienced at best.
Or too experienced.
A distinct possibility.
Cough, cough, Gordon Ramsay.
Indeed.
Come at us, bro. Rate
Yeah.
our pies.
Hmm.
Please don't rate our pies. Just ignore our pies, please.
Yeah. That does not look like enough topping.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
He says without looking.
I literally just looked. How do you know that I didn't look? Here's your apples for your sauce or whatever.
Thank you very much.
After
Yeah.
all of this apple making stuff, still an insane amount of apples left.
Yep.
We may do a part 2 to this where Christopher saw this thing online of caramel apples, but the caramel's on the inside.
This is definitely getting done, whether it gets done for the channel or not. So, I guess like, comment, and all that good stuff if you want to see that.
Yeah, you know, YouTube stuff.
He's the YouTuber, not me. And I don't know all the terminology.
I barely use the terminology.
And there's a reason for that, because it gets old quick.
Yeah, Alyssa, eat your heart out. Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
Why are you bringing Alyssa into this?
Yeah, Alyssa, eat your heart out. How's that for a pie?
That's my sister, if you didn't catch. She's forgotten more about baking than I ever knew.
Remember, project.
All right.
You're doing well.
Projecting. No, I wouldn't do that.
Please don't. There's an invisible line here. No ingredients are to cross this line. God help me if you get powder all over my computer. I will make you go over it with a shop vac that we don't even have.
All right. We have a pie, somewhat topped with streusel.
What is it, 350?
425, and then reduce the heat, it said.
Okay. So this is ready?
As it'll ever be.
Okay, before...
Yeah, preheat the oven to 425. Then bake for 12 minutes. Reduce the temperature to 350. And bake 30 to 40 minutes longer, or until the apples are tender and the juices are bubbling.
Okay. So we just gotta wait for it to preheat? Can we just pop it in? Let's just pop it in.
Yeah.
I doubt it'll matter.
Technically, we should have been preheating this whole time.
Yeah, that would have been a waste of electricity.
Would it, though?
Well, yeah, it would have been preheating the whole time that you were making that pie. It don't
Okay.
take long to preheat.
Okay, fair point. Well,
Ooh, yeah.
I don't know how this pie is
nice.
going to turn out, but based on the pieces of topping that I've gotten all over my hands on the table, those taste pretty darn good.
We need to entertain them for 10 minutes.
Oh.
Yes. Oh. How come my phone? Oh. Use the restroom. I shout return.
And in the meantime, I will apparently be improvising for 10 minutes. Because we did not plan this part. So I'm just gonna locate my knife and do what I said I was not going to, and chop up these apples on screen for sauce. Now in the meantime, let's see, Minecraft. As Shogun mentioned, we've been doing a good deal of work on our shared server, as far as making something you all are going to enjoy. And in the spirit of improvising, I am not sure what all to tell you, because we want to have plenty of stuff to show you. But for those who haven't seen, your boy the Shogun is quite a redstone engineer. Has been getting a lot of cool ideas, some of which have made it into our base, and some of which have, well, we won't talk so much about those. So I will say that if you see our base, you might notice some contraptions influenced by other YouTubers that we have put our special spin on. Talking about your redstone.
Oh.
Meanwhile, he's more of the machinery guy. I am more of a naturalist because, well, I'm a biologist, so I'm fascinated by the various plant and animal species available in Minecraft and what you can do with them. So I'm not even sure how much of my place will be touring in terms of where I live, because what I really want to show you is my gardens and animal pens and so forth.
Oh, we're touring all of it.
Alrighty.
We're going to Windwaker. We're going to Kalimdor. These are all areas that I've named.
Yep. He's the mastermind as far as names. I only have the occasional flash of insight.
We need to. Well, yeah, I suppose. Go ahead and boil that out.
Okay.
We'll work on the empanadas from there.
Sounds good. Anything I need to pause in my apple chopping for?
I mean, other than rolling out the dough, no.
Right.
Matter of fact,
Wait. We do have this for empanadas.
yeah, you roll that out. Give me these. I'll
Alright.
chop these.
Okay.
Mine. Give me.
Alright.
Say give them to me. Don't throw them at me. Cry.
Alright. I gotta wash my hands.
This is by far the messiest this table has ever been.
And it's been pretty messy. Alright.
Well.
5-second rule. Actually, that's a piece of cork. Never mind.
Yeah, don't do that.
Dulce.
The whole world's watching, Chris. The whole world.
No pressure or anything.
I mean, okay, maybe not the whole world.
But the entire fandom of Shogun Shadow.
But I mean, potentially the whole world could watch if they wanted.
Right. Make this go viral if you think it's worthwhile, I guess. I can't believe I just said that.
You know what? Shame on you, and also you threw out your stress ball.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. I threw it and it bounced right back.
Clearly it's attracted to stress.
It is a boomerang ball.
Yep.
Also known as a boomer ball. I'm so sorry.
So, what thickness and what size do you want this empanada dough? I can make more if we need it.
That might actually be perfect right there.
Please, Lord, let it be perfect.
Get as many circles out of that as you can.
Okay, circles of what size? Cup size?
Well, yeah, whatever cup we have.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how else to explain it. Oh.
Should have floured this better.
Easy,
By
easy.
we, I mean me.
Didn't do that right.
I can do it. That's not gonna work. So
I don't know what's been
again.
going on with this wrist. Every time I put pressure on it, it feels like it's gonna snap.
What? Let's just use the last of this flour.
That's a lot
There
of
was
flour.
more of that in there than I thought. Well done, me.
What was the rule about the computer?
Don't throw food stuff at it.
And what did we just do?
I didn't realize empty containers counted as food stuff.
Did it have food stuff in it?
Did it? Vote in the comments, did it?
Comment down below. Did it have food stuff in it?
We are officially losing what little sanity we have.
Like, comment, and subscribe if it had food stuff in it.
Also, send help.
Much help. Very wow.
Preferably professional help, but we're not picky.
Yeah, I'll take what I can get. Be nice. This bowl is not big enough. Bro, is that enough for your applesauce or what?
And do the last 1.5, just to be sure. It's applesauce. We get what we get out of it.
Okay. Now that we've how many do we have? 7?
8.
We have 8.
We're about to have 8,
Okay.
which would be just perfect. Also, I see what you're doing, having me front and center in the camera.
What do you mean?
You're off to the side chopping apples, and I'm right in the center.
Been in the center the whole time.
Yeah, so I'm onto your little plan. You're trying to make me famous.
Ha! I mean, that'd be great if you weren't already famous, Mr. Movie Star Pilot Guy.
Inside joke, don't worry about that. Alright, this one's a little misshapen, but it'll do.
Holy shit. Okay,
Yeah, maybe it won't do.
I'm just gonna take off that little piece. Alright, we're gonna switch. He's gonna finish up the pie, or the applesauce. The applesauce.
Yep.
And then
The pie's in the oven, for better or worse. God have mercy.
And I am gonna roll these out just a little bit larger. So this is about the size that I'm going with right here. I'm gonna essentially pipe. I'm just gonna spoon in the filling. I'm gonna fork them closed and then put them on a tray and bake them. That's about it. Hope for the best. Yeah, we needed some pastry rings.
Yeah. Always forget something.
We definitely should have looked for pastry rings.
Thought we looked for them and didn't find any.
Maybe, yeah, probably. But also, you know. It might be alright.
Alright. Apples are sliced. That looks like it'll be enough.
Open.
Ideally, we don't want the peels on the ends of these.
See, if it was me, I'd have just thrown it all in a blender and just called it a day. Maybe
Which
gave it a little
is-
apple cider vinegar, and that's about it.
Which is what we're doing, actually, although...
Or not apple cider vinegar, just apple cider.
Although instead of a blender, these are going in a pot. And then we might be adding a little cinnamon later. If we feel adventurous still.
Yeah, if we feel adventurous. Chances are, probably not. Keep in mind, we still have to deliver all of this.
Which is going to be the real adventure.
Keep an eye on my Instagram for the video on that. obviously I'm not going to dox any of our friends, but I am going to take you guys along on the adventure to delivering these ninja style, and maybe edit in some exciting parts of us potentially almost maybe getting caught. Hopefully not, but also won't be surprised if we do.
Alright. Apples are on the stove, and I gotta keep one eye on these because
2 eyes, as often as you can spare them.
indeed. Comment if you know that reference. Alright. Now, is there anything I can do while keeping one eye or two, or however many, on these apples?
Rub a bank? I see you staring at me through the back of my head.
Yep. I'm scanning your brain matter to see what's been compromised.
Does not compute.
So, we're kind of in the home stretch, otherwise known as the boring phase.
I need a fork and a spoon.
Alrighty. Does size matter?
No. Also, can you grab me the silver sheet tray?
Silver. Alright. Idea, we do 4 and 4 instead. Well, this might fit all 8. We'll see. Yeah, we're gonna have to do 4 and 4.
I've never made empanadas before, so this might turn out really bad.
But they look delicious. Hopefully, we will be able to get all of these to our friends without sampling a couple for quality control purposes.
Some people may not get some. Because if we're going to sample, we only have 8.
Well,
I don't know about you, but I'm pretty much done. I am ready to not be baking.
yeah, I suppose.
We've gone an hour and a half with this.
Indeed. And we've still got the cookies to make. Which I'll be taking point on anyway, so...
Which we probably will not be showing. That may go in the Instagram video.
Yeah, maybe.
Because this is already an hour and a half long.
Besides, we want to preserve the integrity of the channel, so we don't want to show the recipe that we've actually made before. We're hoping that you all like watching us be goofballs.
We're gonna have a lot left over. I don't know what to do with it. I really don't.
I have some idea.
You mean other than just eating it straight out of the bowl?
Nope, that's all I got.
Ah! I should have rolled that one out a little more.
Never set a timer for that pie, did we?
Nope.
Oh, blast. Do you think it's been 12 minutes since it went in?
Well, look at it. Does it look done?
Well, temperature and bake for longer until filling is done.
Oh, reduce the temperature.
Already done. I'm thinking the 425 was for the crust. Looks like our applesauce is starting to boil.
Actually, a little too full. Just go with it. I should probably take a picture of these when they're done. Send it to my mom. Be like, Mom, I made empanadas for the first time.
I'm sure she'll be thrilled.
Tell Grandma. They were always my favorite meal she made for me.
15 to 20 minutes.
I think I need to roll out just a little bit more.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna finish these up. We're gonna pop them in the oven. And then we are going to go ahead and call it a video right there. Keep an eye out on the socials for the update.
And insert some other joke about liking and subscribing and commenting and all yourself, because we're tapped.
You know, not to be lazy or anything, but make your own jokes.
Right. And for those of you who might be new to the channel, the whole thing about liking and subscribing is a punchline for us.
That didn't work. That one opened on me.
Too bad.
It's okay. It's all good. You know, the dough, it's the dough. I'm blaming the dough. It's totally
A
the
valid excuse, to be honest.
It's totally the dough. It's all wrinkly and like it was made by a child or something. Shots fired. Shots fired.
Facts fired. Oh.
Watch, your sister says the same thing. It's like, what is that? What's that supposed to be?
She'd come up with something far more clever and far more devastating.
Like, oh look.
Viewers, allow me to say I love my sister dearly, so all of these jokes are just that, jokes.
Yeah. That's what they all say until their sister devastates them online, and then
They're also meant to be jokes at my expense, because, as I said, my sister's forgotten more about baking than I ever knew.
okay, let me wash my hands.
Free pie table.
Okay. Well, this has been a long journey full of bad jokes and worse food.
Hey now, we gotta taste it before we say that, remember? We got a deal.
Let's give you an idea of what the table looks like right now. Matter of fact, let me just pull it off the charger.
Battery's running flat as soon as it's off the charger.
Yes.
Okay.
I told you, there's a reason why I keep it plugged in all the time.
This is true.
We'll get in the camera.
All right.
Again, he's not used to being on camera. Well, Thank you guys so much for watching this episode, this mega episode of Cooking with Shogun with our special guest Paradox, aka Chris. Expect to see more of him, especially in the tour of our personal Minecraft file, and maybe in some skits. Comment down below if you'd like to see him in some skits. Anyways, thank you so much. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that sub button for your boy. Make sure you ding that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or post a video. Love you guys. Peace!